Jeff Edine, St. Paul's, Pittsford. For some unknown reason to me, I've been getting a lot of emails from the National Church regarding particularly campus ministry and budgetary cuts.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why I got them, but I do have a foot in campus ministry, the outdoor ministry, as well as all the other things that the church represents. And I'm just wondering what comments can be made about what's been going on nationally in terms of campus ministry budgetary issues.
Do you want to try that, or do you want me to start?
Well,
you start. No,
I'll start, and then you fill in.
You can tell this is really well rehearsed.
Right. No. Have you been part of that conversation? Because I don't want to.
Not really.
Okay.
I know bits and pieces.
Yeah, and I know bits and pieces, but I'm glad to get more bits and pieces once we're done here. Mm-hmm. The reduction in budgets was something that was essential for us to be doing as a church in terms of responsibility and fiscal responsibility. And there were several strategic kind of underpinnings to that were taken, but many of them were for the moment kind of strategies also, as this Living in Faith Together task force was being put together, and as networks are saying, well, how do we continue to be vital in doing the kind of work we're doing in this new reality? And I think campus ministry was part of that. The decision around budgets preceded the strategy conversations and the networking that needed to happen. And a lot of that now is happening, and it was a necessity from just a standpoint of fiscal responsibility. So a lot of that now is happening. It's happening with the folks who are involved in campus ministry. It's happening with folks who are in synods and on campuses. It's happening in envisioning the way we do campus ministry in the long run. But I think that's what was behind the flurry of conversations, I'm guessing, was a sense of assurance on the one hand, if you were hearing about them, and maybe a sense of concern on another.
Yeah. It is one of the problems with a drop in mission support. It's the you have to cut somewhere kind of thing. And we are among those who have dropped our mission support. So there's not a lot of finger pointing to be done. It's not them making decisions that impact us. But I do think there is a real concern around campus ministry. You heard testimonies last night, and our own Feed the Roots for Leadership campaign clearly states that we think campus ministry is a priority. I think one of the questions the church-wide organization is asking, much like the Synod is asking, much like your own congregations at conferences are asking, is at which place in the church is the responsibility for that ministry best placed? That we can't all be doing all of those things, but we need to take responsibilities at different levels. And I think there has been a sense where some people believe, and the LIFT proposals, as far as I understand them, concur with that, and the conversations that led to it, said that there are some things that must happen at the church-wide level. Some of those things include global mission. Those are church-to-church relationships, our involvement in the Lutheran World Federation, for instance. Those have to happen at the global level. Starting congregations, congregation and synodical ministries, the whole push for mission and starting new congregations and training pastor developers, that some of that has to happen at that level. But the campus ministries might better be placed closer to the ground at home. I don't know that there's a right answer to this. I just think that's where it has seemed to come out at this moment for campus ministry. Now, the problem with that, of course, is the funding that undergirds the ongoing campus ministry that we're doing. And so that's part of the flurry. I didn't get the flurry, so I wasn't aware they were going out. I see about 6 campus pastors in the back. And that's because we have pulled together our campus ministry folks and are trying to say, how are we going to address this? And one of our answers to that was to say, we knew these cuts were coming. That's part of why we're doing Feeding the Roots. We're trying to endow these ministries because we know that in the regular mission support, we haven't had enough to be able to give it the kind of increases that it needed. So that's a piece of the whole thing. You are going to, though, you received already a resolution that came to reference in council asking the ELCA to change the way it's made some of those decisions. And frankly, I haven't read it closely enough to know what it asks, but that you're going to be talking about this tomorrow on the floor in terms of whether we are going to ask the ELCA to increase again or to change the way they're doing the decreases in funding over a period of years. And so you'll be considering that. And that is coming from our campus ministry folks. It's a precarious ministry because it doesn't fund itself. Both camps and campus ministries, that's one of the things that's really hard, do not create congregations that provide ongoing support for themselves the way a congregational ministry does. And that's one of the reasons Lutheran Church Missouri Synod has pulled out of almost all its campus ministries. Said they weren't income producing and therefore they could no longer do them. We have never said that. I think we're trying to find a way to sustain them that's reasonable and that actually will work for us in this day and age. And I think the struggle has been to say whether or not the church-wide is actually the place for that. We'll be listening to you tomorrow and there'll be ongoing conversation. Does that help with where we're going? We do have a chair. Abby, are you moving to a mic? Okay. We have a chair of our campus ministry committee. His name is Don Mills, and it looks like we have campus pastors here who are going, and people on campus ministries who are going to chat. I recognize these faces, so they may be able to tell you more.